All right, we're going to get started. So welcome to our first year's panelists and staff and faculty. We are going to get started. Okay. So just a few house rules before we get started. I'd like to welcome you to the H.Y.P.E for Kinesiology, so that is have your program explained. But if you aren't in kin and you want to stay, you can, but there are going to be ones for your specific program. You can check Portal for this information. Please remember to keep your camera off and yourself muted during the presentation. If you become unmuted, we will mute you. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat. We will be monitoring it and answering your questions at our panel. This session will be recorded and will be available on Portal to you within the week. We want to remind everyone that this is a safe and inclusive space. Please abide by the code of conduct that you signed during registration. We don't want to have you removed from the programming. All right, so we're going to start with some introductions. So my name is Emily. I'm currently in my 4A of Kinesiology in the co-op program. I'm going to be your host for today. I'm coming at you live from the Halliburton Highlands. And fun fact about me is that I've been on 3 cruises and I've really enjoyed it. And now I'm going to pass it over to Jessica.
Hi, my name is Jess. I'm a fourth year co-op student minoring in fine arts. I just finished my last co-op work term in clinical research at a hospital in downtown Toronto. And for my fun fact, I'm interested in pursuing a future career in medical illustration. So next I'll pass it along to Matt.
Awesome. So my name is Matthias. I'm going to my 3B term of kinesiology in the co-op program and coming to you live from Renison, University College, of course. And I would like to, fun fact, my first co-op I spent in northern Quebec, and I loved it because every day I got to hang out with copious amounts of dogs. And I'll pass it on to Sticky Red.
Hi everyone, I'm Secure, and I'll be heading into my 4A term of kinesiology. I'm speaking to you guys live from Brampton, and I feel like my fun fact would be that throughout co-op, I've gotten an opportunity to gain a lot of valuable experience, and I feel like my favorite co-op so far would probably be the one where I got to TA a second-year biomechanics course at the university. That's all, so I'll pass that on to Julian.
Hi, I'm Julianne. I'm in my 5A term of kinesiology with a minor in rehabilitation sciences. I'm coming to you live from Mississauga, so not very far from Waterloo. And a fun fact is during my first year as a student trainer on the athletic therapy team, I was just kind of thrown in and I went to the United States, no training at all, and just had to roll with the punches. So it was a fun time and it was a great experience. So I'll hand it off to whoever's next.
All right, so we're just going to briefly go over the schedule for today's programming. So first, we're going to start with mass messages, and then we're going to introduce you to the kinesiology community. We're going to talk to you a little bit more about our community in terms of the advising and the teaching levels. We're going to get you ready for class, how to get involved. We're going to have our upper year student panel answer your questions that you can ask us through the chat. We're going to give you some tips for success, and then we're going to tell you some next steps. All right, so this is going to be a quick activity to help you reflect on some of the thoughts and feelings that you might have as you enter your first year. Take time to answer and be honest with yourself. It's normal to be nervous. We were all in your shoes before, and we're here to help. So to participate in this activity, please go to www.menti.com, which is up on the screen, and put in the code, or you can scan the QR code. And then you can go through the questions and just take your time, be honest. It's anonymous, so we won't be knowing who's submitting these. So yeah, so we're just gonna see what comes up. All right, so our first question is, what is the first thing you're excited about starting first year? All right, so some of the things. So meeting new people, that was definitely something I was excited about. Learning, the freedom, yeah, I feel that too, especially even being up in an upper year. Labs were pretty exciting. University life, pretty fun. New experiences, definitely new experiences. You get a lot of them. Meeting new people seems to be one of the pretty common things that people are excited for, which is good. New beginnings. Yeah, they say that we all go through a period of death and resurrection. You're now not a high schooler anymore, and you're a university student. School. Yeah, school's pretty fun. Can't. Looking like you guys have a lot of things to be excited for, and we're pretty excited to welcome you guys to the AHS family. All right, and now moving on to our next question. What is one thing you were nervous about starting first year? Yeah. And just a quick reminder for anyone who is logged in as a guest, we ask that you please log out and log back in with your Waterloo credentials or your WAT-IM. That way you can have access to the chat. So you can submit questions and have full participation. All right, online courses. I think that is a common thread for everyone, even me in an upper year. It will definitely be an interesting experience, but I think it will make us all stronger as students. Time management, for sure. It's definitely a very different set of skills that you need to organize your time, but we'll give you some tips to do it. And you always have upper year students who you can ask for. We have our advisor team. We have so many people that you can ask for to get help. The workload is something that I was worried about too coming in, but it's definitely very manageable. I find doing small things helps every day to stay on top of it. exams, the exams in there. Making friends online. I've heard a lot of people say that they're worried about that, but there will be lots of ways to socialize even online. New environment. Yeah, it's definitely scary being away from home for the first time. I remember how I felt in first year, but you slowly get involved, but make sure it's okay if you ever need to go home or call your parents. Mm-hmm. Getting bored with online. Feel that. Exams, harder content, making friends. Yeah. Yeah. All of these things are normal, guys. And it's all things that everyone coming into university struggles with. I know I can't speak for all the upper years, but definitely they'll be feeling some of it too. All right. Thank you for participating, guys. It was amazing having you tell us what you're working for. All righty.
I guess I'm up. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Chris Vina. I am a lecturer and the Associate Chair of Undergraduate Studies. As our panelists let you know, I'm coming to you live from Cambridge, Ontario, so I'm just outside of Waterloo. There's no fun facts about me. I'm a dad, so it's pretty boring. So a couple things. Lecture. My primary role is to teach. I'm super excited to get to teach you guys Kin 104 in the fall. Teaching is what I love to do. The associate chair part of my job is to help support you guys in terms of developing curriculum, some of the more administrative things, paperwork, petitions, all that fun stuff that comes with the university job. Have a great team to help with the undergraduate sort of curriculum and planning side of things. Two of them are your advisors who you'll meet today, and there's some other staff and faculty who help out with that. So that's myself. Dr. Russ Tupling, you can see he's at the top of this little circle that makes up our community. He is the chair of the department. And so he's responsible for, I guess, a lot of the executive decisions that go into the department. Three big things would be research, graduate studies, so our master's and PhD students, and of course you guys, the undergraduate side of things. So he oversees everything. Everything just sort of feeds into him, and he takes what we provide him and makes some decisions. You have your advisors, Janet and Lee. They'll chat with you in a moment. The rest of the faculty or professors, we have, I think, about 25 faculty members right now in kinesiology, so you'll get to know them over the next 4 or 5 years. And of course, we have this really great group of lab instructors. They're staff members who will be teaching you all of your labs throughout your 4 or 5 years here. And they're really knowledgeable, really friendly. And of course, some of our graduate students, those master's and PhD students, they're going to act as TAs, which are teaching assistants, and they'll help you out along the way as well. And of course, the other people who are here to help you out along the way are your peers, your fellow undergraduate students. You've met some of your upper year peers. They can provide you with lots of tips and tricks and information to be successful at undergrad and university. And of course, you guys are at the center of this community. And so I'm supposed to share with you something that I'm proud of for being in kinesiology. And really, it is that word at the top. It's community. We're a small faculty in applied health sciences, and we're relatively, we're quite big department. Big program, but it has this small feel to it and has this community feel. And you guys are at the center of that. You guys make up the majority of the people in kinesiology. And quite frankly, it's great just to get to know all of you, the personalities, the experiences, where you've been, what you've done. It's awesome. So I will stop talking now because I have a habit of doing that too much, and I will pass things on to Janet.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. I'm Janet Coulter. Welcome to Kinesiology. It's great to welcome you to your first year in kin. I'm one of the 2 academic advisors in kinesiology. Lee Chandler is your other advisor, and Lee and I are really just here to help you succeed in the program, help you with your course enrollment, help you when you're considering minors, guide you about other campus resources available to you. We're really here probably as your first stop. If you just don't know who to ask, you can always come to Lee or myself. And if we don't know the answer, we will certainly find it out for you. And yeah, I'm just really happy that you're here, and look forward to also meeting you in person eventually. So I'll pass it on to Lee, who will give you his words of wisdom now too.
We're going to set them up for disappointment now. Yes, I am Lee Chandler, presenting live from the Bat Cave, it looks like. Need a little more wattage in this cottage, I guess. Got to get some lights on here. But I am your second advisor in the program. So it is nice to be able to speak with all of you today and to welcome you to kinesiology. A strange but exciting time, I hope, for everyone. So yes, as Janet said, we are your switchboard operators, your councils, and the people that you can turn to if you don't know where else to turn, or if you just want to start with us. There's a good chance we'll fix your problem, and if not, we'll find the right person to help you get it fixed. So we'll be able to help you with questions about co-op, where to stay, where to go, questions about your classes, where to keep them, where to drop them, whether you're happy in the program or not, and you're thinking of going somewhere else, or you just want to explore what other options you can do while you're in the program here, whether there's opportunities in labs or whether it's adding a minor. We're able to help you discuss that, figure out what works best for you, and to make sure that all the paperwork and everything like that follows suit, so that everything is good to go for you. So we're here to help. Right now, we are available readily via email, but we also are looking to set up an online booking system for appointments as well. So for the time being, we're happy to meet with you, whether it's over a phone call or a phone call over the internet or a video conference. We can do that, and you can just shoot us a quick email. We'll be able to find a time to connect with you that way. But in the next few weeks, we're going to have a very, very convenient, super easy online booking system that we'll be broadcasting to you. And so you'll be able to simply just head over to the bookings page, pick the time that works for you, let us know what you want to talk about, and you can pick it, and we get the notification, and we meet you there, and we're ready to go. So it'll be super easy, super convenient. We're hoping to have that up in the next week or two, so that you'll be able to meet with us more easily, to answer questions, to connect, to have somebody to talk to make sure that you're on the right track, and to help you with any questions or concerns you might have. So yeah, so that's going to be online that way. And then beyond that, yeah, we're able to get you straightened out, make sure that you're comfortable with where you are, make sure that you're in a good place, and that you're ready to succeed and have a good fall term. Yeah.
Yeah, Lee and Janet are definitely super helpful. I remember once I wanted to take a course, but there was a conflict with one of the courses I take just because they had a different course code. And Lee was able to give me a code that would override it so that I could get into the course that I was interested in. And now I'm going to pass it off to Chris, who's going to talk to you guys about teaching.
I'm back. So I took a little note. That's one thing we have to get used to, is getting good at taking notes. So I took a little note from the survey, and this was your response to what made you nervous. And professors was one of them. And I get that. I still remember the very first time I went and talked to a professor, and I nearly crapped my pants. And it's okay if you feel that way. But I need you to know, like, normally there's, and Janet and Lee can attest to this, normally my children are hanging off of me when I have meetings. We are normal people. We walk, we have to wake up in the morning and have coffee like everybody else. So don't be nervous, don't be shy. We're here to help. And that's the key message I want to make on this slide, is that myself, the other faculty members, Janet and Lee, and the lab instructors. Our job is to help you succeed. We love doing that. So don't be shy. If you're struggling with the course and you don't know what to do in terms of getting caught up, reach out. We're happy to help. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. It's what we get paid to do, and quite frankly, it's what we love to do. What else am I supposed to do? So if you do have to reach out, you just keep in mind that Janet, Lee, they've got lots of appointments with students, lots of emails to process. Same with faculty members. So teaching's one part of their life. They have research and they have other duties as well. So if you email a professor, don't expect a response in 30 minutes, but you should receive a timely response. And so if you have a question about a midterm and it's a Tuesday and your midterm is on a Wednesday, that might be too short of notice. So you want to give yourself some time to get that response and get the meeting set up so you can get the help that you need. So try to plan things out in advance if you can. And that will go a long way to helping you. And I think that is it. I'll talk more about online learning in a future slide. Which I think is this slide. As you can see, I am well prepared. Anywho, okay, so I took more notes. And so some of the other things that you guys were nervous about, online learning. I get that. I mean, this is new. One thing that I want to try to sort of ease your anxieties about online learning. At the University of Waterloo, we've been doing it for 2 decades or more. I think it might be 25 years. And so you may have encountered some interesting and wonderful things as you exited high school in terms of online learning, but you're coming into a department and a university that's been doing it for a long time, and we do it really well. So don't be nervous about online learning. One of the issues was the volume of information. And I want you to know that what we're doing is we're taking a course that we typically teach in person and we're moving it online. And so we're not adding things. Okay, we're not making things more difficult. It really is just the venue. And sadly, we're not in a big lecture hall. We're in front of our laptops and our tablets. So don't be worried about the volume. And the one thing that came up was routine. And I guess I'll share that in a little bit, the tips to success. So I mentioned everything is online. And the one key word or words that you're going to hear are synchronous and asynchronous. And so you may have a course in the fall, and it might have some synchronous elements. What that means is that you'll have a very specific date and time where you'll have to log in and do something. Okay, that's synchronous. It's live, much like we're doing right now. Asynchronous, this is what the majority of all of our courses will be, where instructors like myself, we will post information onto Learn. That's our learning management system. And what you'll do is when you're ready and willing, you'll log in and you will consume that information. You'll listen to your lectures, you'll take really good notes, and that's asynchronous. You do it at your own leisure. It could be 11 o'clock at night, it could be 3 in the morning. It's up to you when you log in and do that. Now, having said that, our instructors are creating nice weekly schedules for you. Okay, it's really important that you maintain a schedule. And that actually leads nicely into another thing that you guys were nervous about or maybe concerned about was routine and time management. What you need to do for undergraduate studies is you have to treat it like a full-time job. You have to plan your day. So, maybe wake up. Hopefully you don't wake up at like noon. Maybe you wake up at 9 o'clock, have some breakfast, maybe exercise. 10 o'clock and you start working on Kin 104. You do that for an hour and then move on to something else. So you need to have this nice routine, this schedule, and that helps to manage your time. Okay, and we'll talk a lot about that in Kin 104, and you'll hear about it in AHS 107 as well. So a lot of these core skills like time management, midterm prep, that sort of thing. And the labs. So hopefully you saw the video that some of our co-op students created in the spring term. It was phenomenal. They did a great job. You do have access to purchase kin kits. And so for Kin 104 lab and for at least 3 other Kin labs, you'll need these Kin kits. And what you can do when you're at home, you will have activities for Kin 104 lab, and you can practice using some of these things. So you can practice measuring blood pressure. You can do waist circumference, that sort of thing, in the comfort of your own home or residence room, wherever you may be. So a lot of the online learning will be done using videos. For Kin 104L, a lot of it involves movement assessment. So observing someone moving and doing a certain activity. And you can do that in the comfort of your own home. And videos and images really lend themselves well for that. Yeah, so happy to answer more questions about Kin 104 and Kin 104 Lab next week when we hit the ground running.
So now let's talk a little bit about how you can get involved in AHS. So AWESOME, otherwise known as Applied Health Sciences undergraduate members, is your student society in the faculty of AHS. They offer services including social and academic events. Some of these events include paint night, rock climbing field trips, and Pops and Talks with Profs, which is an annual event where you can chat with AHS instructors over food. In the fall term, AWESOME will be focusing on offering their services and events virtually, so definitely stay tuned for more information. Attending AWESOME events is a great way to meet other students. You can also apply to be a part of the AWESOME executive in your 2A term if you are interested in making these events and services happen. Elections to sit on the executive are held at the beginning of each term.
Great. So I'm going to talk about the Applied Health Sciences Endowment Fund, otherwise known as AWSF. It's basically a pooled fund that students contribute to each term. It is indeed a student-based financial support system created to enhance student life and the academic environment of all undergrads in the faculty of AHS. You can also apply to be part of the AWSF Board of Directors if you're interested in helping decide which proposals or initiatives should receive funding. Even though priority may go to learning, equipment, technology, some examples of previous projects include grad formals, orientation week, tutoring sessions, furniture for lounges, School of Anatomy skeletons, gloves, and other lab equipment, as well as mentorship programs such as We Connect You, which is one I'm looking forward to a lot this term.
So there are many clubs and teams that you can join in the future. Feel free to take a picture of the slide or reference back to a recording of the session in order to get the correct contact information you need. So firstly, we have the Campus Response Team, or CRT for short, whose members are present at all on-campus events to act as first responders before EMS arrives. So CRT equips its members with the first aid skills necessary to respond to medical emergencies on campus. And they are currently recruiting virtually for fall 2020. There are also the AHS ambassadors, who are a team of undergraduate students from all programs that interact with prospective students at events like Open House and Ontario University's Fair. They represent the faculty to all prospective students and families, and applications begin in the spring 2021 term. And then you can also volunteer for the School of Anatomy after you've completed Kin 100 and the lab component in the winter term. So positions include volunteering as a teaching assistant, outreach educator for high school students, and as a cadaveric dissector.
So other future opportunities are available, such as at the Center for Community, Clinical, and Applied Research Excellence, also pronounced as CARE, which offers exercise programs for clinical populations. Volunteers at CC-CARE get the unique opportunity to work alongside clinical populations, such as those with cancer, stroke, or cognitive impairments within an exercise setting. Programs are currently operating virtually, but you can fill out a volunteer form for winter 2021. Volunteering as a student trainer with athletic therapy provides you with hands-on experience in injury prevention, assessment, and care, as well as athletic taping and wrapping. Students are recommended to have their first aid certification and take Kin 140L, the Sport Injury Management Lab. Lastly, you can also volunteer for orientation as a leader, which is a rewarding experience in which you get to welcome new students to our university. You can apply to be a part of Orientation 2021 to welcome incoming students such as yourselves.
All right, and now we're going to be talking about support from upper year students. So have you ever just wanted to ask someone who's kind of already been in your shoes a question? Well, We Connect You can be one way that you can do that. So We Connect You is a mentorship program in AHS for AHS students. You can actually sign up now to be matched with an upper year student who will be in your program, and you can visit this website for details. Your mentor can actually help you find resources you need and can share information about events and opportunities with you. It's also a great way to kind of get to know some of your fellow Aussies, which we're all pretty friendly, so I love making new friends. Fun fact that I'm actually one of the We Connect You mentors. So if any of you guys get matched with me, I'm super excited to meet you and hope we have lots to talk about. If you're interested in volunteering as a mentor in future years and you kind of want to help out mentoring the first year students, applications will open next spring. And FYI, UW Mates is another option offered by the Waterloo Undergraduate Student Association, or WUSA as we call them. And they are available for peer support. They provide support to students who are hoping to build social skills or experience personal and academic concerns or low-level mental health and wellness difficulties. So if you guys want to take a picture of the contacts, feel free to go there. Alrighty, so now we're going to start with our upper year panel. So this is where you guys have the opportunity to ask our upper year students some of the questions that you have. So if you could please type them in the chat, we will read them aloud and then we will ask the panelists. But yeah, so feel free to go and we'll see how this is going to start. All right, and I'm going to direct the one, when can we start getting involved in research, to Jessica.
Okay, so while school is going to definitely look different for the fall term, you can honestly get involved with research like as soon as you want. One thing I found that was really helpful is that on the Waterloo AHS faculty website, there is a list of like all the professors and lecturers in the faculty, and you can click on any of the professors and look at their research interests. And if it interests you, there's also a form that you can fill out to get in contact with that professor if you're interested in helping out with their research. And usually they'll get back to you within like a month or so. So definitely look online. I could probably send a link into the chat about where to find the list of people.
All right, and now we are going to pass on the question about CRT to Sharika. Go ahead.
So I was actually on CRT for 2 terms, and I feel like it's a great experience because not only do you learn a lot of like hands-on skill about like procedures for EMS and how to treat like various injuries that you might encounter, but you also get to become friends with a lot of people. And I think that was like the best part, because you get to work with all these different people from different programs, not just like AHS. and I made a lot of friends from there. So I definitely recommend joining CRT.
All right, and next up we have, oh, there's a lot of questions. Good job. All right, what was your hardest course in first year? And I will pass that along to Julianne.
So honestly, I found that my hardest course was Kin 105. That was just because I didn't really understand like how the course was, which really helps to like go and reach out to your professors whenever you need help. But also, there's so many resources available. Like there's test banks. You always have your peers as well. Don't be afraid to ask questions. But it does depend on your own experiences and your own knowledge, and just stay on top of your work and you should be fine.
Mm-hmm. All right, and next we're going to answer a few of the co-op questions. So just a heads up, so co-op is a very competitive program. We do not place anyone in the placement. You actively go out and search for the job. We have a website called Waterloo Works in which you will access when you are in 2A, and it has a listing of different jobs posted by employers, but this is no means an extensive list. So you can actually do your own networking outside of Waterloo Works, and you can get your own co-op job. I currently work for cooperative education. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to send them my way. There are co-op jobs, and the places that they occur in differ depending on like just the employers that decide to submit the jobs. We try and do as much recruitment as we can for bringing in jobs that will give students various different opportunities. But if you're looking for, say, a local co-op, you might have to make sure that you're checking the listings. But in terms of a lot, I think it just depends on like the job flow and the market demand. Same thing, co-op placements in the States. If it's in the States, it will be it'll state that in the job posting. And as long as you have the appropriate requirements and the items you need to work in the States, and you can go ahead and work there. All right, next up, I will pass the minor one on to Kaylee.
All right. Hello. So declaring a minor, it's pretty easy for the most part. There's usually just a minor form that you can fill out. You don't have to do a minor within the Faculty of Applied Health Sciences either. If you want to do one with another faculty, you are welcome to do that. The workload does depend. I mean, honestly, I always say that if you like the program, the workload usually is pretty okay, because you enjoy doing it anyways. And would you recommend it? So I would definitely recommend it if that is something you want to do, because you can specialize in whatever it is. So for example, I'm doing the medical physiology minor myself. So I personally am really enjoying it because I like the courses that it offers, and it gives me a good experience in that area. So really find something that suits you, and it can be a great experience for sure.
All right, and next up, we are going to answer the question of if we took a kinesiology course in high school, and I'm going to direct that to Mashis.
Yeah, so I was one of the ones who didn't actually take a kin course in high school, and to be honest, I didn't find that to be much of a problem. After first year, I caught on pretty quickly once we started taking more and more kin courses. So if it is something you're interested in and you stick with it, honestly, it's actually not that hard to get a hold of, just like any other course. And yeah, I don't know if anyone else on the panel did take kin courses and want to share their experience, but yeah, it was pretty smooth for me.
All right.
I can add on to that. I actually did take a kinesiology course in high school, but the assumption is that They're trying to get everybody on the same page. So the introductory course, Kin 104, is an introductory to kinesiology. So it's trying to get everybody on the same page.
I can say that I took a kinesiology class in high school, and I found it was really nice because I already kind of came in knowing a few things, but I found that learning some of the topics here in kin was different, but not unexpected. So you're definitely not at a disadvantage if you didn't take a kin class. All right. Next up, we are going to answer the question of how our career path has changed since we started school. And I'm going to direct that to Julianne.
So personally, I started kin thinking I wanted to be a physiotherapist, but like as I went through the courses and like the different experiences and volunteer opportunities I had, such as with like through CC Care, there's a program called UW WellFit, which is for cancer patients and like helping that rehab. So through that, and as well as working with athletic therapy, I figured out, oh, I want to do athletic therapy. But also like taking courses also allows you to get involved and see different pathways as well. And with something such like that is so broad as kinesiology, there are so many different pathways that you can go with it. So after thinking I wanted to do athletic therapy, I actually took some courses in biology and had some experience in labs, such as taking Kin 307, which is a very lab-based course in which each week you kind of work in a different professor's lab and you do like a little bit of their research per se. And through that, I decided I actually want to do genetics. So I've gone from physiotherapy to athletic therapy to genetics. So who knows where this is going to take me.
Yeah. All right, and now we're going to move on to the next question. So how long did you spend studying weekly? Did you find the increase a struggle? I found for me that my studying habits changed a little bit throughout the years that I've been at university, just as I got better at realizing what I needed to do. Tips for our first year students, I found that making all of my study notes at the end of each week really helped me to stay caught up on all the content. At the same time, I was slowly reviewing it. So when I came time to start studying for an exam, I just had to review it a couple more times and then it was good to go. That being said, everyone has a different way of studying. So if you ever want any advice, feel free to hit up any of the upper year students you see in this panel. We'd be happy to talk to you guys about how we study, but there's also resources on campus through the Student Success Office that can help you figure out how to do that as well. All right, we're going to move to the next question. When is our content being released online? Like, is it at all the start of the week or is it depending on the prof? Chris, are you still on the call?
Welcome. I am here.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to take that one because
Sorry.
you're more?
What was the question? Pardon me.
Just wanting to know like how course content is going to be released online. I figure you're the best one to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I mentioned earlier that we've asked our instructors to make sort of this weekly schedule for you guys. And what we've also found through surveys of current undergraduate students is that they enjoyed sort of that structure, right? That regular release of content. And so you can probably expect that instructors will release maybe 1 or 2 weeks of lecture material at a time. So for myself, this week I'll be posting the first and second week of information for Kin 104, and then it'll be somewhat regular after that. And so you can work ahead a little bit if you choose, but it won't be like, you log on and the entire course will be there waiting for you to learn. So you'll have to work through it at a regular pace, I guess. So hopefully that answered that question for you guys.
Hopefully that answered your question for you guys.
All right, thank you, Chris. So next, we're going to move on. So there's 2 questions about minors and majors, so we'll group those into one, and I'm going to pass that on to Jessica to answer.
Okay, so minors depend on like the number of courses you have to take, so that your workload associated with the minor depends on the minor that you're taking. So for example, I'm taking a minor outside of the faculty in the Faculty of Arts, and my minor is only 8 courses, but some minors would be like 10 courses. So those would all come out of your elective spots. I'm not sure if it's completely possible to do there's enough elective space to do another major, but that's something that you could talk to your academic advisor about. So definitely chat with Lee or Janet if you're interested in doing a double major.
All right, thank you, Jess. Now we're going to answer the question, is there a lot of memorization in the program? And I am going to pass that along to Sheree.
So I would say that there isn't a lot. Like for anatomy, you will need to memorize certain bits, and then other courses where they have like key terms or like diagrams and stuff. But I feel like majority of it is learning. So mainly like in physiology, like there's a whole pathway of things that happen. So just learning all of that content. And like I think one of the best things you guys can do is as soon as classes start, look through your course outlines and read through like the different things you need to do for the course, like readings and stuff, and figure out a good way that will help you study. So like for me, I really like drawing out diagrams, and I need like color coordination and stuff like that. So I'll make my notes like that. But for certain classes, I might just need to like visually look at diagrams rather than writing notes out with words and stuff. So I feel like deciphering that for each of your classes will really help you at the start of the term.
All right, thank you. So next up, we had a question about textbooks. So in your core syllabuses, they might have required readings, and that was where you could find your textbooks. I would wait till you start class to get textbooks, just because I find sometimes the teachers say, oh, you might not need it, or it's only like optional. So I would wait to do that. You can get textbooks from the Waterloo bookstore, or you can get them at the Fed's used bookstore at a lower price. But I would definitely wait for textbooks, but that's just me. All right. Yeah. Are there any other questions that we missed? Yeah. Courses will be available on September 8th. Lee or Janet, did you want to give a better or a more thorough explanation on doing a double major or minor in kin?
I actually was just writing something in the chat about the minors. So yeah, so just a bit of clarification on the way the program is laid out for you in kinesiology. The first 2 years of the program is really all required courses for you. So we want you to have a really good background before you move on to your elective choices. And we will enroll you in all of your courses in the first 2 years of the program. Year 3 and 4 is all electives. So within the kin program, you've got 12 free electives, which means absolutely anything. Can be kin, can be outside. And you've got 7 kin electives that you need to take. So that's where, if you're interested in a minor, you're going to start slotting those in is really more actively in year 3 and 4. So just to give you an idea, this isn't something you need to decide right now. We will be communicating with you about minors and how to go about this as time goes on. But I just didn't want you to think this is something you had to decide right now. So just wanted to clear that up.
I'll just add on to that, Janet. That was awesome. And you don't have to do a minor. It's another thing we stress. They're great. They provide this sort of little extra expertise in a certain topic area, but you don't have to do it.
All right, thank you. Janet or Lee, could you take the question on individual education plans?
Yeah, for sure. So for any of you that might have done IEP classes or have completed AB courses or anything like that, sometimes depending on the class and the grades that you have in them, they can be eligible for transfer credits for some classes here at UW. And so if you have completed those, you need to make sure that you submit your transcripts to the University of Waterloo, to the registrar's office here, so they can confirm that you have done those courses, have the adequate grades, and they can provide you with transfer credits for that. So if you haven't submitted a transcript, you need to make sure that you do that as soon as possible. I'm not sure what the deadline is for that. I hope that we haven't missed it, but certainly submit any paper that you have, any of those records of coursework or those transcripts to the university so that they can get those assessed and let you know what your options are. And if they are eligible for transfer credits, they will let you know about that, and then you can choose to accept them or not. Generally, if you're eligible for transfer credits, take them. That's courses in your pocket, so it's always a good thing to have. So make sure you get that paperwork submitted if you've done that work.
All right, thank you, Lee. So next we had a question about what's the biggest challenge you faced moving from high school to university, and I'll hand that off to Matches.
Yeah, so I'm a very independent person, so living by myself and away from home was not a difficult part. I can handle it. But definitely for me, one of the biggest and most difficult things was not school itself, but just developing the maturity to like take basically life, like my own life, into my own hands and be responsible for everything I do, what I do, when I do it, how I go about my day, and try to plan for success as much as possible, because no one's really forcing you to do anything, right? You could take whatever path you want, and there's a lot of freedom in doing that, but you also have to learn how to do it properly and take care of yourself at the same time. So for me, it was that aspect. Most things that actually happened outside of schooling that was challenging. I wouldn't say difficult, just challenging. And I ended up learning from it and becoming a better person afterwards. So.
Anyone else want to share their biggest challenge? Any of the other panelists?
So like I'd say also like to add on that, I feel like I remember in first year, like the first week of school, sitting in classes and stuff, and you're just like so like overwhelmed. And the first few weeks can be a bit overwhelming. But to be honest, like everyone's going through it, all your other peers, and like your friends. So just like keep that in mind, and like that usually really helps me calm down and feel better.
Anyone else have anything they want to share? Any of the other panelists? No. Well, I would say my biggest challenge was going from a very small high school where I grew up with everyone to coming to Waterloo and not knowing anyone. I was definitely afraid that making friends would be a little bit harder because I had been pretty rusty at it. So I really liked having people who were very like-minded. I found that was one of my favorite things when I started at Waterloo. Like, finally someone could geek over bones or like athletic injuries with me. I don't know how many conversations I've had where it's like, oh, can you check my like scapula? I think it's like hurting. And then you just kind of tangent off and you can talk for hours. And it's so nice to have that with everyone and everything like that. So don't be afraid to go up to someone and say hi. That's how you make new friends. Get out of your bubble. Stuff like that. Oh, all right. We have another question. How did you all find the first term classes? Was it too hard or was it okay? Anyone want to take that one?
I guess I could take it. I personally didn't find it that difficult. The thing that I found the most difficult about my transition from high school to university was I had so much free time because school was only like a few hours each day and there was a lot of breaks in between. So I just had a lot of extra time and I didn't really know what to do with it. And definitely I had to change my study habits from high school to university to accommodate for like the more difficult course information, but also learn to manage my time properly.
I can go next. I could answer the same question. First term classes for me, I actually thought they were pretty similar to high school because I took chem, bio, calculus, and they were very similar. It was just I think it was Kin 104 course. That was my first Kin course. I kind of had to it took a while to wrap my head around. Um, for, Around things that I think of right now are just extremely basic. Um, I think it was okay, not too hard. It was all right, and it was a good refresher from what I did before. So.
All right, and now we're going to move on to tips for success, and I will pass it over to Janet.
Okay, I think, are we moving on to this slide now? Sorry, I couldn't hear whoever just spoke there very well.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I just I feel like this is the mom slide. Like, this is me being your mom. Just encouraging you to take care of yourself. Be mindful of what you need to be a healthy student. Take breaks from your computer, get outside, get exercise, eat healthy, all those things that I know that we know, but really, I think really put this into practice. It's going to be important. So, and also plan ahead. Chris gave you a lot of great tips about that. Stay on top of your workload. Keep track of your deadlines for things, create your own schedule, get into good time management practices, and always reach out if you feel overwhelmed. Sooner rather than later would probably be the key advice there. We're here to help you, and reach out to your profs, reach out to your TAs, and yeah, look after yourself and enjoy your first term.
I can add a few more points to that tips for success slide there. There's a few key pieces that it's very useful to be mindful of when you're going through your term, especially as some of you pointed out your concerns about workload and balancing classes and things like that. There's a few good ideas here, a few little nuggets that are worth keeping in mind. The first is the office hours that your instructors and your TAs for your classes will have available to you through the term. They're going to be posting that information about when, where, and how you can meet with them outside of the videos and the lecture components, to be able to connect with them, to ask any questions you have, or to raise any concerns about how you're doing in the class or how you're doing with a particular assignment. So those office hours, although it can be daunting trying to reach out to a professor to connect with them to talk, as Chris pointed out, they're just people too, doing their job, trying to help you learn to make sure that you're able to succeed. So they're here to help you. They're not here to scare you or to fail you, or to do anything like that. They want to help you, and they want to be able to connect with you, and those office hours are a great way to do that. So it's something that can be a little intimidating to do at first, but being able to make that leap to do that will not only help you succeed in the classes, get to know your profs a little bit better, and make you feel more comfortable with the coursework that you're doing and your progression through the term. So definitely make sure you keep an eye out for those office hours when that information is available for your classes online. The other piece, especially with classes being online and with the access that you have to to collaborating with you, with your colleagues in your classes, is to be mindful of academic integrity, right? So it's very easy to work together, and it's a good thing to do, but there's a fine line between working together to solve a problem and not paying attention to what the expectations of the assignment are, or to collaborating to too great an extent such that you could run afoul of academic integrity, right? So concerns about plagiarism or things like that can often sprout there, not through any ill intent on your own part, but quite often just because you didn't know any better at the time. And so make sure that you pay attention to what the assignment's asking for and to how you can best complete it without treading onto those concerns about academic integrity. So keep an eye on that through your classes each term. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is not to wait to ask for help. And so it's a problem for sure when you find that you are facing these challenges and these struggles. If you have a heavy course load, if you have a lot of things that you're uncertain about with online classes and everything else that's going on, there's a couple of different approaches that you can take. One is to just say, no, I'm going to put my head down, I'm going to power through this, and I'm going to make it work. And okay, that's great. Good if you can do that. But a second and useful approach to take is to say, maybe I should connect with somebody to see if there's something I'm missing, to see if there's something else that I can use to help me, right? Because sure, there's working hard, but there's also working smart. And so making sure that you're able to use all of the resources and the people and the programs that are in place to help you succeed will help make your life easier and will help you succeed in your classes this term. So whether it's connecting with a prof or a TA or one of us as the advisors to say, hey, I'm running into these issues with this class or with this term in general, what can I do? That's awesome. Let us know. That's what we're here to help you with. And we'll be able to make sure that we get you back on track so you can succeed through the term. Because it might be, hey, maybe it is just too much on your plate. Let's talk about maybe dropping a class if that's something that works for you. Or it might just be, hey, here's some resources for tutors or for workshops that can help you nip that problem in the bud and get you a bit of a head start so that you're on top of things for the rest of the term. So definitely connect with us whenever you think there's something on your mind, if you have some concerns, or if you're just feeling like you're underwater, you need to figure out what your options are. That's what we're here for.
All right, and now we're just gonna finish up. So next steps. So orientation events will continue until Monday night. Check portal and ask your orientation leaders if you have any questions about the remaining orientation events. Classes start on Tuesday. Woo! The key to success is keeping up with your classes for sure. Get involved. The best way you can experience university is getting out there. You're not just here to learn, you're also here to kind of figure out who you want to be. And it's amazing to do that through clubs and activities. And stay connected with us so you can see our different social media up on the slide. So take a screenshot of that or take note and follow us for any updates on Instagram or Facebook. All right, and I'd like to thank you guys for attending H.Y.P.E for Kinesiology. Welcome to the Faculty of Applied Health Sciences and the University of Waterloo. Just a reminder that Pulse is happening tonight at 8 p.m. Check portal for information, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Yeah.
Before you all go, we also just would like to remind you that if you have any other questions about kin or anything else, feel free to put them in the kinesiology chat on Microsoft Teams, or you can stay behind here and we can answer any other questions you have. Make sure when you are on Microsoft Teams to check out your team channel. So it'll say like team 2 dash and then a name. Make sure you check that out because we have a bunch of team challenges going on throughout the week. And if you guys complete them as a team, you get a chance to win a pretty cool prize. So make sure you check that out. And like Emily said, we do have Pulse tonight at 8 p.m. and we really hope to see you there because there's going to be definitely some very fun, ultimate, lively secret events that you'll only get to participate in if you come. So have a great day.
I'm also just seeing on here there's a question about the difficulty level if English is not their first language. Would Lee or Janet like to answer that question, provide some extra input?
Yeah, sure. That's a difficult question to answer, I suppose, because it also depends on how strong your English is. I mean, certainly there can be some challenges with some of the terminology, the new words that you're going to encounter, and so that definitely might present a greater learning curve for you. If you find that you do well with your conversational English outside of the classroom setting or with family and friends elsewhere, then that transition into the classroom shouldn't be that bad. But it's going to depend on how you're able to adapt to the new language that you're going to encounter, or if you have a prof who maybe has an accent, and so there's an added barrier there from hearing the language in a tone that you're not used to. And so I hope that it's not going to present too much of a challenge for you, but certainly if you feel that there are some barriers there, if there's something about whether it's a specific prof or just your workload in general that you find is making it difficult for you to manage for the term, then definitely let myself or Janet know, and we can look to see what other options are available. It might be if there is a class that has many different sections with different profs, then find a prof where their English might be more suitable for you, or it might just be a matter of saying, hey, there's just too much going on. I'd just like to maybe drop a class or something like that so that I can balance my workload while dealing with the challenges of all the translating and of dealing with ESL. Then we can work with you to figure out what makes the most sense there as well, so that you're able to succeed in all your classes instead of having those struggles that are not welcome for you in your first term or your first year or any year for that matter.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions we had. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and this recording will be posted afterwards, so on Portal.
This is my favorite part.